It looks like PlayStation 5 shortage woes may be coming to an end. This is Inside Gaming, and let's talk about video game news. PlayStation 5 US shipments are up 400% from last year, just in time for the holidays. The story is by Ryan Dinsdale. And as it says here, Sony is producing way more PlayStation 5 consoles than it was last year, with new figures showing a 400% increase in shipments to the United States year over year. This news comes from senior analyst at MST Financial, David Gibson, who shared the stats on Twitter, showing a huge spike in the number of units being shipped to the US in September. So we'll head on over to the tweet here, look at the source directly, and then according to David Gibson here, who's a financial analyst, says, lots of reports of improved PS5 supply in the past few months, but no data until now. Import data into the US confirms that Sony Interactive PlayStation shipments in September were positive 400% or plus 400% year over year. Yes, you read that right. Some of that will go into inventory for the God of War launch for sure. Hashtag PS5. Here's the chart here. You can see the numbers are in fact going up, which means it should be easier this holiday season to find a PS5, except we're kind of putting aside the fact that because there still have been so hard to get PS5s that there still will be an accelerated demand for them, not to mention scalpers. So, you know, it still there may be more PS5s, but it could potentially still be just as hard to get one depending on how rapidly people are trying to get into retail stores to get these boxes. There is more tweets in this thread from David Gibson. He said, that's US imports to be clear. So how is it for Xbox? So, you know, PlayStation 5's potentially, 400% more than last year, should be easier to get, but what about Xbox? Data requires more interpretation to get the right sources, but based on my estimate, Xbox supply into the US in September is up 89% year over year. Here is the chart for Xbox. We see some rise and fall, and then yes, this huge spike right here. Looks like a lot of the complications caused by chip shortage and like the supply chain are starting to get solved. You know, PlayStation had officially said that they were working on solutions, and it looks like they finally got it. And if you're just curious, David Gibson also tweeted about Nintendo. So he said, so Nintendo, not so good. It appears with that they're down 59% year over year, but company is ramping production and is using air freight. This data is sea freight, hence may not be as bad as shown. So, air freight, moving units by air versus units by sea. Probably don't need to explain that to you, but here it is. And also, he kind of, said it was down. But remember that the Switch is very old at this point. It's not just 2 years old like these, I think 2 years, these more like next-gen consoles or current-gen consoles. So, Switch actually isn't doing too bad. And then obviously rumors of, Switch 2 or Switch Pro on the way. Anyways, that is your update for PlayStation 5 stock shortages. Hopefully, keep your eye out and you're going to be able to pick up a PS5. Hopefully this holiday season, I would assume, pro tip, look for the bundles. That tends to be an easier way to get some of these consoles that are hard to find sometimes. All right, so let's talk about Splatoon 3. The headline reads, Splatoon 3 sold 2.7 million box copies in 3 weeks, according to Japan's monthly charts. The Nintendo shooter accounts for 69% of all retail games sold, boosting Switch hardware sales. So largely people in Japan really like Splatoon and Splatoon 3. Let's get into this story just a little bit. I think we got kind of the facts out of the way. And this story is by James Batchelor over there at GamesIndustry.biz. Splatoon 3 was comfortably the biggest selling game at Japanese retail last month. Nintendo's cartoony shooter shifted 2.7 million physical copies following its release on September 9th, according to the latest charts from Famitsu. The platform holder previously announced that Splatoon 3 sold 3.45 million physical and digital copies in Japan within 3 days, making it Switch's fastest selling game in the company's home market. It also scored the franchise's first #1 in the UK retail charts. So that is an incredible speed at which to sell copies of Splatoon 3. Anyways, let's take a look at Japan's other top 10 best-selling games, just to kind of see what's going on over there. So again, Splatoon 3, #1 with a bullet. The other games they're playing over there in Japan Dragon Quest X, Rise of the Five Tribes offline. That takes up 2 spots, the Switch version and the PS4 version. Then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still swinging hard out there. It's still a fantastic game. Nintendo Switch Sports, Minecraft Switch Edition, then Dragon Quest X again on PS5. And then Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival, fun rhythm game with the drum, and Earth Defense Force 6 at number 9, Kirby and the Forgotten Land at number 10. So there you go. That's your financial update for what people are playing in games, what games people are playing in Japan. Next up, there was a story today about the first major Saints Row update, which is promising to have over 200 bug fixes in November. If you remember, Saints Row came out recently. It was not praised very well. Anyways, this story from VGC is written by Tom Ivan, and it's basically kind of just recaps this blog post from Volition, who said, yeah, they're gonna fix 200 bugs. So let's look at that blog post real quick, and you can see the types of things they're talking about fixing. So here it is, the official Saints Row blog post, a Saints Row Autumn update. Still lots to come. They're like, please don't stop playing this game. They actually did manage to sell over 1 million copies, which isn't bad, but it's probably not what they were hoping to do with like this well-established franchise. It's a very polarizing game. People came out against it saying, like even from the trailers, that it's going to be too woke or whatever, and that they weren't interested in playing it. But then when it hit reviewers are like, there's actually not much here in this open world game outside of this amazing hero, like character creator. Like it's kind of just wrote open world game. So that's kind of the 2 takes on it. Let's see. So bugs and fixes, they said, we know there is still work to do to improve your experience in the game, and we are working hard on fixes to community reported issues and improvements based on your feedback. You can see some of the progress we've already made from recent hot fixes here. That links to another thing that kind of just gives you an update on all those things. And it says, but there's a lot more we want to do, and right now our development priority is delivering improvements over new features. So they're kind of in bailing water mode, right? They're trying to make sure that the ship actually works before they're going to add, fancier things to the ship. This update will include many requested improvements, including reducing repetition in some activities, making challenges more rewarding, improving vehicle management, a revamp of rumble and haptic features, and more. And then, new cosmetic DLC for 2022. They are not giving up on Saints Row yet. So if you're a Saints Row fan and you got this game and you're a little bit disappointed, maybe just wait a couple months and then go back. Next up, Ark Survival Evolved on PlayStation Plus cost Sony $3.5 million. So this is a story similar to yesterday, where we're analyzing what it actually costs to have these subscription services and have games on these subscription services. This story comes from PlayStation Lifestyle. It's been posted elsewhere as well. It's by Zermina Khan. And here is the story. An SEC filing has revealed that Ark Survival Evolved, PlayStation Plus offer earlier this year, cost Sony a whopping $3.5 million. The game was part of PlayStation Plus's March 2022 lineup before the major revamp and stayed on the service for a month, following which players who continued to subscribe could keep the game forever. According to the filing, Sony entered negotiations with Snail Games, studio wildcard owner, all the way back in November of 2021. So that's basically what it cost them to get this game on their service and have it available, as a PlayStation Plus game, that people aren't like just paying upfront the, $20 to $60 or whatever it is to buy the game, but they just have the service and they can download the game and play it. And yeah, that's what it cost them. What's interesting here is Xbox actually paid a lot less for some reason. The SEC filing originally reported or spotted by Ark YouTuber GP via Twitter user Ethan Gack, who's actually a Kotaku writer, so that's weird that they wouldn't just say Kotaku here, further reveals that Microsoft paid $2.5 million to keep Ark Survival Evolved on Game Pass for the first half of this year, and $2.3 million to add Ark 2 to the service upon launch. Okay, so that's the part that's cost less. The $2.3 million to add Ark 2, which is a sequel, you would assume that game would cost even more, since it's already been like a proven thing and the studio can negotiate it here. But that's a lot of money. It's like almost, an imaginary amount of money. It's like so much money to try and comprehend. Anyways, those numbers are always interesting. The more we can learn about Game Pass, I think the better, because it still is kind of like a black box of like, how does this make money? How is a substantial service or a substantial business proposition in the long run for Xbox? And is this all just going to disappear someday? Just interesting things to think about. All right, moving on. Got another story from VGC here. Overwatch 2 servers down for some as Blizzard removes 2 heroes temporarily. I can't remember the last time this happened, actually. This is posted by Jordan Midler over there at VGC. It says, Overwatch 2 servers have been down intermittently following Blizzard's emergency maintenance period late last night. The maintenance saw Blizzard remove 2 characters, Bastion and Torbjorn, from the game, although the latter can still be used in quick play. They said Bastion and Torbjorn will be taking a quick trip to the workshop while we iron out a few bugs in their ability kit. That's from a tweet from Blizzard. And we can go to the tweet directly here. And it says, Bastion will be unavailable in all modes during this time, while Torbjorn will still be playable in quick play. So yeah, this is just a quick PSA. And still a lot of people upset about Overwatch 2. There's been, intermittent server issues, like I've said, and sometimes people are coming back to find that they've been locked out of most of the heroes that they've already unlocked or had already had access to. There's been, server lag outside of just the character stuff, issues with the phone number registration, people still not being able to play because of that, not being able just to play the game as intended or like as originally intended, or even at the same level as Overwatch 1 if like all your characters are locked or whatever. So part of the reason that they actually had to take down, they actually took out Torbjorn and Bastion is because it looked like Bastion had a bug where they could use their ultimate endlessly. So yeah, they had to shut that down, obviously, right away. Overwatch 2 continues to be a mess. I can't remember the last time that like characters actually had to be removed from a game. Maybe it has happened, but I don't think it's happened in like Apex Legends, or any of those like Rainbow Six. I'm not sure they actually had to like remove a character for a period of time. So just definitely continuing this pattern of a messy launch for Overwatch 2, which is a bit of a bummer. All right, we finally made it to the end here. I like to end these new kind of style or format of videos with something to kind of look forward to. I know we talked about this, I think last week, Need for Speed Unbound being revealed. They're supposed to reveal something else today. I think it was just kind of a car, nothing like too exciting. It wasn't a new trailer or anything. But if you haven't seen this new Need for Speed game yet, you should. Like, if you're wondering like, why are you talking about this? It's because the new art style actually looks kind of sick, and I'm excited about it. I'm not like a huge racing fan, but I am known to play a Need for Speed game here and there. So let's check this out. I'm going to actually mute this so it doesn't mix with the other music. And you guys can check this out. And yeah, basically it's got this wild style where you have like realistic cars like set in kind of an anime universe. Very bizarre, very wild. Pretty fun, I think. I think this is going to get me to play this Need for Speed game. If you haven't seen this trailer, you can watch it here, or go watch the actual thing without without me cropping it all weirdly. But yeah, this game looks pretty sick. I'm excited for it for sure. And yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and for more video game news and updates, stay tuned right here to Inside Gaming.